Hello, my lovely liberating Libras. Welcome back. As you know, I'm Sachi the Scorpio, and I'm here to deliver your guided healing tarot for the month of December. Please like, comment, and subscribe. The more energy that you send to me, the more energy that I can send to you. And thank you again for being in first place, Libra. Once again, you get your reading first and foremost. So, you know, we're in Sagittarius season now, which is all about philosophy, academia, wisdom, spirituality, culture, and also luck and abundance. Sagittarius rules all things that are based on perspective, so whatever is subjective to us, and perhaps the only objective truth, which is that everything is subjective, right? It's those types of philosophical nuances and those types of deterministic approaches to things that really shape how we see our world. Right? And it makes us biased in the most innocent way. So this season, we are going to take a look at what philosophy are you stuck in and how is that blocking your luck and abundance. In the extended, we're going to take a look into, you know, a new philosophy that will bring you more luck and abundance. We will also be doing shufflemancy. So you know, this is my iPod. It has over 14,000 songs. I once dated a DJ who was a Sagittarius, and so I have all his stuff and mine. I have books on philosophy on here, and also some different, mostly philosophical books. And so, yeah, I'm going to be making a shufflemancy playlist. We are going to be getting messages from music as we go along for Sag season. You know, we are bound to experience a little bit of culture in these readings this month. And of course, Sagittarius rules culture. And maybe some of them will be what you don't know. I thought that, like I said, I'm going to make a YouTube playlist to assist this reading. The link is in the description box below, same as the link to the extended and all my email and that information. This spread and the shufflemancy will be available during Sagittarius season. I'm booking 15 of these spreads at $55.55, but the first 10 people will get it at a discounted rate of $44.44 with that 11/11 discount. So Libra, thank you again for being number one. Feel free to email me to snag one of those spots. Soon I will also be dropping some videos on teaching tarot, so keep an eye out for that if you are interested in learning how to read tarot for yourself. Also, you know, follow me on Instagram for some healing content, you know, some memes, sometimes I do free tarot, and of course my own journey. Get to know your reader if that's of interest to you. So yes, we are doing things a little bit different. So this is what came out in the cleansing ceremony. We had John Lennon. Not everything you see is a mirage. Not everything you hear is a lie. If you enjoy wasting time, then it isn't wasted. Peace is the only thing worth hoping for. So I definitely feel like there has been some sort of illusion that has really dissolved. You know, we've had Pisces retrograding in Neptune, which is really lifting the veil off of most things. And, you know, there has been a lot of people who have been kind of manipulating that, trying to take the veil being lifted and kind of put spells on certain sects of society. And it really looks like you've recognized what is illusion and you've recognized, you know, what is true in your heart, and that is peace and love, right? John Lennon, you know, this is what they say in the book about him. So I'll read what the book says and then I'll tell you my own experience. So John Lennon was an abrasive, acid-tongued hard man, a cynical prankster who embodied rock's rebellious energy. As the de facto leader of the Beatles, he headed a revolutionary force that shaped the consciousness of a generation and transformed the world, both musically and culturally. Lennon's post-Beatles solo career was then distinguished by tender, soul-bearing vulnerability combined with outspoken, occasionally brutal honesty. He himself, a man of extraordinary contradictions, part blissed-out sage and prophet of radical social change, part bitter, emotionally stunted man-child with a messiah complex. Yet for all of his all-too-human flaws, he rarely faltered at the tireless quest for truth and self-knowledge. So, you know, John Lennon was kind of the front man of the Beatles. He definitely had a Messiah complex. I will agree with that. He once said that the Beatles were bigger than Jesus or something like that. So he definitely has this kind of really big ego, right? The Beatles blew up during a time, and they really, you know, the Beatles had a huge influence over a huge group of people, right? That's spell work, no matter how you want to describe it, right? People who listen to the Beatles typically are into, you know, altering their states of consciousness. They, you know, are more in tune with like wanting to have world peace and things like that. But John Lennon, you know, ended up leaving the Beatles and going with his divine feminine, Yoko Ono, and it really caused a stir. And a lot of people blame Yoko Ono for John's choice here to do that. And when he got with her, his music shifted radically, and he started doing his inner child healing and, you know, breaking his ancestral curses and starting to make social statements that were really causing a big shift, because he was teaching love only. Love is the way, you know, give peace a chance. And of course, John Lennon was assassinated. So definitely lots going on there in New York City, in the United States. He was assassinated. So, yes, that is the energy that is being cleansed here, Libra. So it feels like you are meant to make some pretty big social changes, but it does look like there has been a little bit of ego in it. But, you know, no matter where you are on sort of the John Lennon path of, you know, it feels like in the end, no matter what, you are choosing, you know, love above everything. And I know you recently went through a rebirth here. So of course that there is a little bit of martyrdom involved here, but we have to remember that, you know, it's about the rebirthing process, so to speak. So we also have the Seven of Chalices come out in reverse. And what I heard is that in relationships, you are no longer wanting for things to just be light chit chat here. You're done with that. You're done with being like, oh, hey, what's up? Like, what's this celebrity doing? How like keeping everything really light and bubbly. No, you are done having relationships like that completely. And behind it, we had the stars. So I definitely felt like, you know, really, this is definitely into divine timing. You might be really looking into the stars, like famous people, because I mentioned like celebrities and stuff. And you're understanding how things are divinely aligning for you in terms of this, of not just wanting to have this sort of, keep everything emotionally like, you know, oh, hey, how's the weather? You know? And then we had the Emperor come out. So this is beautiful. It looks like you're really embodying your divine masculine energy, really on top of things. Like, all right, I got to get shit done myself. Like, I have to use my own masculine energy. I will say the Emperor in this deck is an Empress. Like, I feel like time is very important. Wow. And look what is circled on the thing. It's October 31st, right? That was Halloween. And that's when we had that Taurus full moon. And I know that that caused a pretty big shift for you, Libra. Like, released a lot of fixed earth, right? And you guys are the balance. So a lot of blockages that have been keeping the divine feminine, divine masculine in balance really were released in this past cycle here. So it does look like you are really empowering your divine masculine, and that is, you know, John Lennon energy. Give him shit for, you know, a lot of things that he has done and said, or, you know, we can be, you know, critical of anybody's choices if we want to, right? And it just appears that like, okay, so yeah, because like, you know, the divine masculine chooses love and chooses union with the feminine, right? Even over the material gain of, you know, being with the boys or whatever it may be, you know, like it goes where the heart leads, right? And if he did lead with his heart, then okay, you know. But yeah, so it does feel like there is definitely some like union sort of energy coming on. And then what came out as a clarifier, which is going to be how it's affecting relationships, was Sylveon X in reverse using precious ribbon. So I do feel like there is a very, very important X that is a part of this journey for you. In terms of precious ribbon, like that's kind of how I see this, as like, oh, precious ribbons, like everything's so cute and pretty on the outside. And that's what, you know, it's this kind of superficial energy, and Libra, you rule the skin, so you know how being superficial is not a negative thing, right? Like, seeing things on the surface for what they truly are is very, very important, and not a lot of people see that, right? But it looks like this is really part of a deep karmic philosophy that you have about, you know, what things look like on the surface, right? And now you're like, you know, you still may want all the pretty things. Of course, you want the precious ribbons, Libra. Of course you do. But when it comes to emotions, you're like, nah, I'm not going to just take the pretty shit. I'm not just going to take the pretty shit. There are, you know, mirages, you know, that have happened, and like, you are just ready to kind of stay in that mindset of like, all right, I'm seeing beyond the veil. Definitely a lot of Piscean and 12th house energy, I will say, and Neptune energy, just because, you know, the dream realm and illusions and delusions, and things like that. So let's start the tone. Let's see. Oop. We are going to do a shuffle, and this is for, to set it off for Libra. Let's see what it is. Set the tone. Custard Chucker by Caspa and Rusco. Okay, so I feel like there's definitely been, like, I was hearing like yellow journalism for some reason, and I was kind of getting this kind of mudslinging sort of stuff, you know, where media is consistently just like, right? Like, you know, putting spells on you. Every single person who is making, you know, some sort of mind persuasion. Do you know what I mean? But it still is custard. So, you know, it's still getting food thrown at you. You can't really see through it necessarily. So let's see what is going on. What is the philosophy that Libra is stuck in that no longer serves them? Let's see here. We have Janis Joplin. Evolve but don't compromise. You're all you got. The power of love must replace the love of power. You are far greater than the sum of your fears. Yeah. So once again, I will say that drugs is something that's coming up with both of the artists. I mean, I'm not gonna, you know, right, whatever. I mean, most artists probably did drugs. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Anyway, okay. So yeah, Janis Joplin, evolve but don't compromise. You're all you've got. Like, this is really starting to put yourself first and really, you know, letting your freak flag fly. I'm hearing like Janis Joplin was definitely a divine feminine who also spoke of peace and choosing love, right? The power of love must come first, right? It has to replace the love of power, a very greedy system, the same one that killed John Lennon, you know? So you are far greater than the sum of your fears. So whatever is fearing you, it might feel like, you know, whatever you're afraid of is bigger than who you truly are. But that's not true. That's not true. You are changing. Like, we've seen that a lot of things were out of alignment, and that so that things could come back together for you, Libra. Like, things were falling apart. It was tower moments, but like, yeah, so that everything can go back to the way it needs to go, because you felt for so long that it just, you know, hasn't been right. So there is this sort of evolution going on, especially Scorpio season. I know was a huge time for you, Libra. We had Mercury and Venus in Libra. A lot of Libra energy was still going through it. So, you know, definitely. All right, well, let's see a little bit more about this. It's weird. I just dissociated. Definitely some Piscean energy. I usually only dissociate during Pisces read, but I'm getting it for you. So there's definitely kind of like a trauma response, maybe to leave the body for a while, which is normal. You know, like, out-of-body experiences are valid. It's just depending on what makes us have them, so to speak. But we have the 10 of Wands here. So this is about some sort of cycle that you have not completed with somebody else when it comes to love, lust, passion, And also creative potential. This is when you have a fulfilling job that you love and you come home, you know, you have the nice phone, you have the nice house, you're coming home with groceries and you're going to cook with your sweetheart. So that has not come around yet, but it seems like all of the fears that you have, it's the fears that are keeping you, you know, from giving yourself this gift. And I'm hearing that it's definitely some sort of power complex. Let's see, what's the light here? It's a power struggle of trying to, I mean, also Janis Joplin, I will say she, well, supposedly she overdosed. So this is about really indulging in things that are just, you know, meant to space you out, so that you don't really have to accept the reality that you're in some sort of way, right? And Janis definitely went to the extremes. She was not afraid to die, clearly. But, you know, we have Ursa Ring using drag off. So I'm hearing for some of you, this could involve marriage or a ring that's the cycle that has not been completed. But this is definitely scary bear type energy. We have bear spirit coming in and drag off. So I feel like some sort of conversation has really dragged off about this. And it's because it seems like you're stuck in a more fear mentality. It says, although it has a large body, it's quite skilled at climbing trees. It eats and sleeps in the treetops. So this might be actually with somebody who, you know, might be a little bit larger than you. They might be maybe a little bit chubby, but they're like, I mean, like brawny, I guess, but they are like strong and agile and something. But this might be a little bit different for you, Libra, because we see that what things are on the skin surface aren't being as important anymore. So it might be that you have met someone who's, you know, a little bit, the thing is, they're more like your type than you think. Let's see, what's the shadow here? Because it's what's on the inside. Woo. So in the shadow, we have dark energy in reverse. So it looks like, there's a split here. The thing is, I don't feel that it's necessarily a dark energy, okay? Like, but there is some shadow work that has yet to be completed. Okay, so yeah, it's not dark. It's actually very, very light here. So it looks like definitely, you know, like it's not, this isn't pulling you into the dark, but there's so much ego involved with the solar plexus here. And even Ursa Ring, as you can see, has a yellow circle right over his solar plexus. So there definitely is some sort of ego. I feel like conversations can just kind of drag off, and it might be because of what someone is fearing and maybe how they are either dissociating or how they are, you know, getting effed up through substances. But there's definitely some big, big egos here. Like bear spirit, as you can see, is yelling. Like definitely some ego issues, and the ego issues are some, you know, shadowy energy that has yet to be, shadow work that has yet to be completed. So let's see here. How is this blocking your abundance and luck? Oh, well, let's see. We have redneck woman. Interesting. So it looks like there is some sort of, by Gretchen Wilson. Okay, so definitely some kind of country vibe. Like this might be someone who's maybe a little bit more of like a redneck. And yeah, I feel like the feminine energy is kind of coming in from very like much United States type energy. Okay, and then it says, do you, Portugal the man. So there's definitely some aspects of like doing each other, I'll say that, but like do you, what I'm hearing is it's kind of about that ring sort of thing. It's like, do you want to get married or not? Like, do you want to do the ring thing or not? Right? And there definitely is some ego there when it comes to that, and this cycle of, you know, coming home together and creating whatever it may be together. Definitely some changes. I'm hearing like the masculine, right? Portugal, the man. There could also be someone from Portugal involved here, but it's like, or a Portuguese person, obviously. But the majestic something. But yeah, I feel like it's the masculine saying like, do you, Like, do you. Like, it's okay. Like, you do me. Like, you do you, and I'll do me, is what I'm hearing. Let's see what the feminine has to say back. Favorite things, incubus, science. So it looks like the feminine is definitely getting more into science. Incubus is a, you know, sex demon. So it looks like the feminine is okay with having some sort of, you know, kind of toxic relationship when it comes sexually, or that, you know, there is a lot of like astral sex going on at night. But what I'm hearing is that, like, the things that are causing the problems here are the feminine's favorite things. That's why it's kind of hard for the feminine to kind of get out of their ego and give it up here. But let's see, how is this blocking the abundance of the, ooh, John Lennon coming right at me. Yeah, so again, I really feel like it's blocking seeing clearly. There's a lot of hallucinogenic energy here where you know, you have the unlimited potential to create whatever you want, right? We're all powerful manifestors, and we create our own reality, which also means that we can distort it to a point where we have a messiah complex, or distort it to the point where, you know, we're creating a reality that truly does not serve us. And it looks like that's what you're kind of creating, because for Lennon, I mean, I respect what he has done and everything, but it did, you know, he had a messiah complex, and what happened? He ended up getting assassinated. So, you know what I mean? So it looks like it's setting yourself up for failure a little bit by, you know, some sort of illusion or delusion here. Yeah, we have the moon in reverse. We have the Knight of Pentacles. So what I'm hearing is that things are moving forward. It's just very slow. The thing is that there's a lot of things that have to do with this neural network that is kind of illusionary in you. Some of them are newly planted seeds that have happened, you know, recently, that will be easy to dig up. Then there are some that have borne a lot of fruit, and, you know, plants that are years old that propagate by themselves, right? I really feel like this triggered some neurons of a lot of things in your past, and then also, you know, new things that had been planted. So, and then we have the moon and the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. So with the moon in reverse, definitely, you know, the moon can be, yeah, I mean, we just talked about that Taurus full moon, right? There are huge physical blockages that have come out emotionally, and we know this. But the moon in reverse can also mean, you know, magic that is done that is like, you know, not good. Like when you're working with the moon in reverse, that's some darker magic. And so with the Nine of Pentacles, this is influencing not being able to complete some sort of cycle within yourself. And this has to do with, like, you know, you have everything, you have all the abundance. All you're looking for is that sweetie to come home to, you know, so you can eat together. And it's that same kind of vibes here that you haven't completed with the other person. But the thing is, you haven't completed that cycle within yourself first. That's why you can't plant, you know, a certain type of seed. There's some overarching mental illusion that is setting you up for failure here. I mean, there's really not any other way to put it. I mean, there's a million ways to put it. Let's see, what's the light here? We have Ninkata using slight intrusion. So this has been an intrusion on your heart chakra. Like slightly, yeah. The thing is, I feel like you're keeping a little bit up about it. It's like, well, it's not too deep in the heart. Like, doesn't mean that your heart has been shut down or anything like that. This seems more like a minor setback in the grand scheme of things. It just feels really deep because it's at the root. Again, as I was mentioning, some of these plants here that are part of the neural network of illusion is, you know, they've been planted for a very long time. So there are really deep roots that are connected to whatever new sort of seeds that have been sown. So it says, it can sometimes live underground for more than 10 years. It absorbs nutrients from the roots of trees. Yeah, so this is pulling back things that has happened 10 years ago or more. Definitely playing with your memory is what I'm hearing. So it looks like someone might have done a little bit of memory work on you, like get really deep and then kind of have you by the lasso, so to speak. What's the shadow here? And it talks about at the root. So I do feel, yeah, I do feel this is definitely some deep rooted relationships that could be 10 years or more. But we have twin flame energy coming out using continuous headbutt in reverse. So it feels like the twin in this situation does not want to have a continuous headbutt here. And it has to do with how things are moving forward, how it's going to slow. And, you know, it's because you haven't gifted yourself completing that cycle of, you know, giving yourself the abundance in order for someone just to come and share what you have, you know, no expectations in any sort of way. And it looks like the twin flame on the twin flame journey, like this has been a continuous headbutt, but no longer. It's like, I'm not going to fight this. I'm not going to constantly be clashing here. I'm just going to hang. Like, I'm just gonna, you know. It says, dreaming of one day flying. It practices by leaping off cliffs every day. So definitely very much Fool energy. And, you know, the Fool is taking that sort of leap of faith. But also, you know, leaping off cliffs and hanging are not two good things to, you know, be thinking about, if I may say, Libra. So just be careful of what is going in your mind and what it is triggering and how it is, you know, causing you to kind of dissociate and get out of your body. And yeah, because again, this is definitely a heart chakra energy that's a little bit of a lower vibration, right? It's hanging down. This is an intrusion on your heart, something that has taught you that everything is not love, that peace is not the only thing, you know, to hope for, that peace isn't possible. So that definitely needs to get out of the heart chakra because it's blocking your abundance literally by playing with your memory and your mind here. It says, if its cloak is broken in battle, it quickly remakes the cloak with materials nearby. Yeah, this is definitely some illusionary fake things, right? Cloaks have to do with deception. So it looks like whoever has been deceptive, and it might have been your twin, like they cloak themselves. And, you know, it's just going to be a continuous cloaking of not being able to truly show their true selves. But any sort of deception, especially with the moon in reverse, is just very much like, you know, the veil is ripped open, like ripped off, and you can see right through the matrix. But if you try to, you know, pull the cloak off of who's the man behind the counter, so to speak, then, you know, I'm not sure if you can hear someone using a saw in the middle of the night outside. What the F? But yeah, so, oh yeah, so, you know, after you pull off their cloak, well, they make a new one and they just hide away, right? It's just how like a virus is able to cloak itself when going through computers and things like that. So, the same way that magicians and people who do, moon work like that, how they can create a grand illusion and alter the state of the consciousness of a whole entire group of people. So let us see. It says Coming Undone With It by Korn and Dem Franchise Boys. So this is definitely more of an uppity version. So for those of you who can't take Korn, which is kind of a grunge band, it is a hip hop intermediate, and honestly, like, that collab was dope. Like, not gonna lie, it's definitely a type of culture clash. So all right, let's set the tone for continuing in the extended, where we are going to look at some advice on how to manifest a better philosophy that's going to help you bring in more of your luck and abundance. Like I said, the link is in the description box below, and I have 15 spots available for this as a personal reading. Feel free to reach out to me via email. We have Little Britain, Dread Zone. Okay, so there could be definitely some stuff about British, right? John Lennon was British. So there could be something about Britain involved, or perhaps someone who comes from English descent. And when it comes to Dread Zone, I feel like there is You have this feeling of dread in some sort of way. And here we have, it's on now 33, and 33 is the number of abundance and third parties. So definitely some sort of dread is keeping you in third party situations, or your twin in third party situations, and is blocking your abundance, your luck here. But okay, so I hope that I will see you in the extended. If so, I will see you there. If not, I send you so much luck for the situation and so much love and a big hug and a kiss on your third eye. Mwah.